Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, we are getting our passport. I have been vlogging this entire experience of expediting my passport, and I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who helped me in this process. I don't want to give out all the details right now, but I'm going to show you guys the entire process of the last few days of getting this passport expedited. If you're new to this video and you're kind of like, hello, what is she talking about? Hi, my name is Joy. I live in New York City. I'm a Southern California transplant, and I'm planning on spending my summer in Europe this year. So I actually missed my flight to Paris, where I had booked a apartment for the month of July, and the reason why I wasn't able to board my flight was because my passport was expiring in the 90-day window, and I had read the wrong website on whether or not I was still allowed to travel before I booked this flight. If you guys are, gonna give me shit in the comments. So long story short, the last week and a half has been me, one, battling it out with the passport situation, two, trying to work with Airbnb on renting out the studio and then also getting a refund. So let's go into the clips of everything that happened, but we are going to our appointment at the New York Passport Agency today at 1. So I did want to take you guys through that journey. I have all of the passport forms over here, but let's get into the clips right now. Oh my god, you guys, it has been the craziest 24 hours, I swear to god. So long story short, yesterday morning I had decided, you know what, taking the L, I'm absorbing whatever the universe is telling me is going to happen, la-di-da, right. Anyways, so I went ahead and posted on TikTok that the apartment I booked in Paris was going to be up for rent if anyone wanted to rent it out. And I got a lot of leads within the first 2 hours of the video. But I actually got a lot of comments in the TikTok video where I shared that the reason why I couldn't board on my flight was because my passport was going to be expired and everything was backed up. And I got a lot of crazy tips. The first tip was obviously to call the New York agency and tell them it's an emergency and they expedite it. That was too basic. The second one was someone told me to call a rush service. So there's these rush passport services that you can call. They're third parties and they cost a lot. It cost $150 for the passport, or $160, and then the rush service was $950. And the best that they can do is get me an appointment for the 18th, but I wouldn't get my passport until the 21st. And after looking into it more, I realized that all these third-party companies do is basically they already have an appointment set up for you. So apparently in the US right now, there's a passport shortage of people unable to get appointments. Everything's backlogged, whatever. So these companies are obviously trying to get ahead and sell these appointments, and that's why there's these third-party services. Then what I did was someone else recommended that I go to another state like Connecticut, which is really close to New York. So I got through the agency yesterday at 4 o'clock. They open at 8 a.m. and basically it's backed up for the entire morning because everyone's trying to get an appointment. And how they do appointments is every 2-week increments. So the last increment was going to be for the 18th. So the guy told me that the entire Northeast area is booked up and that basically I'm shit out of luck. And so I was okay, cool. And he was try back tomorrow. Then I open up my TikTok video and I start getting all these crazy comments. So basically yesterday I was screw this. I went and returned a bunch of clothes that I had bought for my trip. And one of the girls working at the retail store was yeah, that happened to me once. And I called 1,000 different numbers. And eventually I had to talk to a congressman. And I thought this girl was just flexing that she knew someone in the Oval Office or something. So I didn't really think that much about it. But then I started seeing a lot of people commenting on my TikTok to call Congress or your senator or a House of Representatives. So I started looking into it and it's actually a thing. If you call a congressman or a House of Representative, they can help you get basically a VIP appointment. So there's all these landing pages if you Google your senator or your House of Representative where you can actually fill out a case to get this done. Most of the time when you fill out the case, it actually takes 2 weeks because then they have to fill it out or whatever. So I filled out the case and I was all right, this is not happening 2 weeks from now. It's gonna be 3 weeks, the Airbnb is gonna be gone. And so then I get an email And it's like, hey, this is so-and-so. I work for the senator. I got your case about your passport. Can you please like sign this like non-disclosure and also like send me the info for your ticket? Because they cannot get you a VIP appointment if you don't already have a plane ticket showing that like this is an emergency. The problem is that like because I didn't board my flight, they counted me as a no-show. And I wasn't able to get onto my flight. They wouldn't let me change it. Like, it was like, okay, you're done. And so when I came home, I like canceled everything because I thought like my trip was over. Like, I had basically given up. So basically, I have to buy a brand new plane ticket in order to just get an appointment. And she told me that like once you get the appointment, she can get you a same day appointment. You go in, you take the picture, you give the information, and then you have the book like in your hands. And so I was like, okay, maybe I'll risk buying a plane ticket for Friday because all the flights are red eyes because right now it's Wednesday. But I don't know if she can get me an appointment that fast. And then I was like, all right, I guess like I just like won't go. Like I'll just take the L. But then I was thinking about it and I was like, I paid for an apartment in France. I paid to fly my dog back home so my parents could watch him. I paid for all the Ubers to and from the airport, that an event in itself. So why would I pay all this money and then get zero experience from it? I feel like I'm already like down in the L. And so I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, why don't I just book an appointment that has a 24-hour cancellation policy? This is so crazy, you guys. Like, so there's airlines where you can obviously book and then 24 hours you can cancel. The loophole, however, is that you can only cancel if the date that you booked is 7 days out. And all of those flights are like going for $1,000 like at big airlines, where like if I fly with French Bee again, the airline ticket is like $450 or something like that one way. So then I was like, okay, French Bee will let me change the flight if it's 7 days out. So why don't I book a flight 9 days out? That will give the senator or whatever some time to find an appointment. If it doesn't work out, I can always move it, whatever. I can also move it earlier. I also have an Amex credit card, and Amex is like the gold card. It is like the card that always takes your side. And like usually I book with my Chase Sapphire Reserve because it's like the travel card and you get more points from it, la-di-da. But then I was like, no, Amex always has my back if something doesn't work out. So I was like, I'm gonna book with my Amex credit card. I sent her over the information for the ticket and I'm hoping that she can get me an appointment tomorrow. But this is the craziest thing. Like, I never thought I would be talking to Congress to fly to Paris, let alone like ever talk to Congress. So I'm really hoping that this experience helped you guys. One thing that you have to know though is if you are trying to talk with like a congressman, it has to be the congressman for your district. So you have to search by zip code who your representative is. You cannot talk to a representative from like outside of your zip code. And the reason why they do that is because they want to make sure like they're handling everyone in the area that they represent, which actually makes more sense. Like, you know, that way like everyone can delegate all the stuff like internally and stuff like that. So I'll give you guys an update tomorrow if I talk to Congress and I'm able to get a same day appointment. Cross your fingers for me.
2 days later.
Hey guys, okay, it is Friday. I think it's the 8th, maybe it's the 7th, I don't know. But we got in touch with Congress and Congress expedited my passport and I'm getting my passport on Thursday. But anyways, they got me in for Thursday, so I printed out the form, I got my passport picture taken. I'm going in Thursday. My flight is for Friday, and also the Airbnb host rented out the studio for the end of July. So I'll have it for like a few days, which is fine, because I was thinking about like going down to the south or like maybe going to Italy and breaking it up. But I just wanted to guys give you guys an update.
1 eternity later.
Okay, so as you guys saw, I was able to get an appointment with the New York City Passport Agency. I'm so grateful to everyone on TikTok that helped me get this appointment or just gave me tips to direct me in the right direction. Just so you know, when you are going to the passport appointment, some things that you need to bring is 1, bring your old passport if you are renewing it. 2, if you don't have a renewal, like some form of federal verification or your social security, then you need to bring a passport photo that is at least 6 months old. You cannot use the last one. You also need to show travel for the next 14 days of when you are going on this international trip if you're expediting your passport. You also need to bring a payment form, and also when you go to the appointment, they give you a confirmation code and another unique ID that you need to show them before you go into your appointment. I actually didn't want to mess any of this up. I had it printed out from the postal office. They have like the renewal forms, but I realized that I scribbled out one part, and then online it was saying like you need a DS11 and this is a DS82. I'm not going to show you the file because that has my info on it, but basically I went to my local postal office because I don't have a printer, and I printed out the entire form. I also printed out my ticket for the flight, and I also printed out the COVID form that I need to sign for tomorrow. I took no chances. I ended up getting boosted last week. I wasn't boosted yet, and like the requirements to enter France were kind of like vague, like you needed to be boosted and you didn't. Last time I went, I didn't need to be boosted, even though people said you did. Anyways, I got boosted, and then this morning I went and got a rapid PCR and antibody test just to be safe, because the 7-day mark was yesterday and you need to be boosted for at least 7 days before your flight. I don't want any issues. I don't want to miss this flight ever again. So I got a COVID test, and when I got the results, you guys, it said I was positive, and I freaked out, and then I realized I was reading the wrong section. So it said that I was positive for antibodies, which is a good thing, but for my rapid test it was negative, so I'm all good to travel. But I am just going to try to get everything done. Tomorrow I leave on the red eye, so Ubers to the airport are pretty expensive during rush hour on Friday, so I actually might Uber like dead ass like earlier in the day and just sit at the airport all day so I don't have to pay for like surge price. Or I was thinking about it because I think I'm going to, instead of like do 1 full month in Paris, I think I'm gonna break it up. I think I'm gonna do like 1 week in a different location so I can go around Europe, because I've been feeling more inspired to explore Italy, and I feel like while I'm there I might as well go to Italy. So the plan right now is I want to be in Paris, then make my way down to Saint-Tropez, Nice area, and then take a boat over to like Italy somehow. I don't know, do like a little bit in Italy. I'm also like, I want to go to Barcelona, so I feel like if I get a 1 month apartment in Paris, I'm kind of locking myself into like a schedule, and we all know I have commitment issues. So that's like the plan right now. I did the math, and honestly it's only like $10 more a day if I was to do that versus like stay at an Airbnb consecutively for 30 days. Also, if you watch my last video, you can see that Airbnb has been honestly so awful to work with. Like they always take the host's side, so I don't really get a refund. Like I got a refund from my host, and it was like for 5 days of July. So I'm not really sure like how she came up with that amount, but I'm still talking to her about getting a bigger amount because she ended up renting my flat out for the entire month of July. And she originally said that I could go and stay there until like July 20th, and now she's taking that back. So it's all a hot mess, but I'm just telling myself like I am a money magnet. Money comes easily to me. I manifest money. I live in abundance. Like what's meant for me will always be there for me, and it's always worked with me so far. So even though we're like in this like one little like hurdle right now, I'm not really worried about it. All right. I'm gonna go now to the passport agency. Guys, it's the next day. I was going to film yesterday, but it was really late and the lighting was just like really bad. And also they like don't let you film because it's a federal office. So I wasn't able to film inside for you guys, but I did get these clips over here that I will show you. But I got my passport. It is so cutie. Look at it. It's like brand new. I honestly kind of want to get like a protective seal on it. I always made fun of people that had protective cases for their passports, but since mine is like brand new, I kind of want to keep it nice and cute. I usually just throw it in my bag, and like my old one is like all like creased and like weird in the center, but here she is. She's looking so cute. They're not colored, so you can't see her face. So I don't know why I spent so much time getting my makeup done for this. I don't think I told you guys, but my hairstylist was in town over the week, and she now lives in LA. I used to live in New York. And so whenever she's in town every 3-4 months, like I have to get my hair done with her. And it just so happened that she was in town, and I was like, why don't I just get my hair done? I'll do my makeup at the salon and then snap a photo at CVS, because the one I got from Rite Aid, I look so bad. Not only was I in a really bad mood and my emotions were just on my face, but it was also one of the most humid days in New York. So my hair was like really poofy. Like my hair is pretty poofy right now, but it's just because I just left the gym. So that photo was gross. And then also at Rite Aid, they took a photo with one of those really old like cameras that has just really bad lighting when the light goes off. It was just gross. So I went to CVS and it was a way better experience, although I would say it cost $6 more to print out 2 photos, and you have to get 2 photos. And they actually had no camera that was working, so I had to take my picture on my phone, which was better for me because I know how like my angles are with my phone, and the guy was able to snap the picture with the front facing camera, and then we were able to put it into the Kodak software, and you're able to crop how much you want from it. So overall looked good. Here's how the process works. I live pretty close to the passport agency, so you know it wasn't that hard to get over there, although I did meet people that were traveling from New Jersey or Connecticut, and people just are really desperate for passports right now because everything's so backed up. And I got there, and you have to form a line every 30 minutes is like when the appointments go in. You're not allowed to bring any food or drinks into the building, and you have to wear a mask, and I didn't have a mask, so I had to like run to the pharmacy and get one. And basically, once you get in, you have to go through security, so they definitely like check your bag and everything because it is a federal building. Then after you do that, you go into the main lobby, and basically they confirm that you do have an appointment, and they confirm that you have the application and also your travel documents, and also that you have the photo. They basically check that you have all the necessary documents before moving forward. Then afterwards, and they like sign off on it, they give you a ticket. It's kind of like when you go to the DMV and you like filled out the form. And so then you go upstairs and you wait in the room, sort of like in the DMV, for your number to be called. And that's where the photos are. You go to the front desk, and the woman basically just collects all the forms. She makes sure that it's all there, and then she asks how you want to be paid. Passports go for $130. So the passport book is $130. If you want to get the card, I believe that was like $30 or something. But I don't know why you would get a passport card, because you can't use it for international travel. So I'm not really sure why you would have a passport card. Like, someone please explain why you would have a passport card. You can get both. I don't see the point in it. And then the expediting fee is $60. It didn't cost anything to get the appointment with Congress. I actually met 2 or 3 people in line that also was working with congressmen. Some other people just got lucky with appointments. It was also like really tense in the passport agency, just because when we were in line waiting to get in, a lot of people thought that they could just walk in without an appointment. And I originally thought this too, and so did a lot of people. And I think a lot of people thought they could walk in with a flight the next day or whatever and realized that that wasn't happening. So it was pretty emotional outside the passport agency, and I felt really bad for like the families where English isn't their first language, and so they're already struggling to just communicate their needs. And I think growing up with parents that are obviously immigrants, like I feel for them. So I was trying to give them tips on how they could get the appointment faster, and I'm really hoping this video educates more people to reach out to their local senator if they need to get their passport expedited or if they need things, because I didn't know that you could reach out to the senator of your district, which makes sense. I mean, we're paying for them to like work for us, so they should be working for us. So then after you pay, they basically are like, they give you a ticket and a receipt. You have to keep this receipt, don't lose it away, and it will tell you basically like the time window of when to come back, or you just sit in the lobby for it. It basically takes up to 3 to 4 hours. So I went across the street to Printing House Equinox and just laid by the pool and got some food, and then when I got back, you have to be back in there by 5:30, otherwise they don't let anyone into the gate. And I was getting really worried that I wouldn't get a passport because it was like almost 6 o'clock and I still hadn't gotten a passport, and I was getting really frustrated with some other people with me because people that had appointments after us were getting their passports before us. And then I learned that it's all kind of in a different order based on when you need to fly, when your travel date is, and then it also looks into like your background. So I thought making a passport was just literally like stamping a book and giving it out to you. It's actually not that case. So they take your information and they send your information back and forth to DC to basically make sure that you are legit, that there's not any like records of you on why you're not allowed to leave the country, which actually makes a lot of sense. I never really thought of that. However, I was sitting next to a mom and she was trying to get a passport for her newborn baby, and she was like, I don't really understand why it's taking so long for a child who doesn't have any history whatsoever. I guess that also makes sense. Like they want to make sure like the baby is a citizen or the parents are both in agreement on that, because I know some people probably like run away with their child or something like that. So that's probably why certain things get held up. There's this one guy that actually was making a scene in the waiting room because I guess he was rejected a passport, and I guess he worked with a third-party agency to expedite his passport and was paying like $6,000 or something crazy, and he wasn't able to get a passport because I think he had a lot of debt or something. I don't know. That's what the girl next to me was saying, but it was like yelling back at them, and it was like really cringe for me to sit there. But I have my passport. I'm super excited. Update on Paris. So I was waiting to book my Airbnb until I got my passport booked, because as you know with Airbnb, they do not take the customer side. So before I went to my appointment, I was actually looking at a lot of like cheap hotel sites like Booking and Hotel.com, and Booking had this one hotel in the 17th that was $95, and it was the last hotel room, so I figured I probably wouldn't get it. I thought I would fly into Paris and for one night just be in a hotel while I figure out the Airbnb, but then after I got my passport, I'm like, why would I want to move twice instead of just like get situated? So I ended up finding an Airbnb that worked out. I'm not going to tell you guys the location yet until I leave the Airbnb, but it's in a really cool neighborhood from my understanding, and the apartment is super boho and cute, kind of like my aesthetic, so it looks like it's gonna be a good time. The host is actually communicating with me very fast, and he seems like he speaks English really well. I mean, I was trying to like speak French back to him, and I think he was just like over it. But I fly out tonight, and you guys are probably seeing this video after I arrive in Paris, so I'll update you guys more when I get there, but I wanted to get this video out for you guys so you can see it. And thank you for coming along with my journey, and get ready for some travel vlogs and some Paris lifestyle vlog. Comment below the luggage emoji or like any travel emoji so I know, and I will see you guys in Paris. Bye!